Bonsoir, mes amis. Grüezi, meine Freunde. Hello, my friends. This is Enzo Eigen, the Alliance for Loki. Having a rough hair morning, but c'est la vie. Anyway, let's talk about wars. So we've had 4 wars, and we are unfortunately 1 in 3, and I definitely have helped contribute to that slow start. Let's talk about some of the fights in my first 4 wars. And so one of the coolest rank ups I did recently was Wiccan to rank 4. I feel like he's a really valuable war attacker, and so you can just see him in this first fight against Terrax. It was that quick how good he is. And so here he is against Terrax. This is node 1 basically, and so he has a big regeneration. But the nice thing about Wiccan is that with his buff immunity, you can totally turn it off. So just trying to keep up that buff immunity, of course, watch out for his rock stacks, and that is the trick. And so there it is. Getting bunches of incinerates on him, and now just wait out his rock stacks. They're a little bit funky there, but anyway, now it's just time to keep on getting my spells to work, keeping that on the neutralize on, big SB2, and then that's it. And so that fight is really simple. That might have been a rank 3 Terrax, but yeah, Wiccan is so good as a rank 4 champion. He's just a really, really good war attacker. Deals with buffs really well, and yeah, just has a lot of also utility. That's very important. So the next fight we'll skip. It's a really simple fight. And now let's talk about this path in these 2 fights. These are sort of the classic counters. So this is path 4, section 2, and here's Noel, and he goes, he gets those severe debuffs on his special attack, which makes him really scary because you will just be taking damage that you can't prevent. And I don't think there's any way to prevent them because you just can't purify them. So anyway, my goal is just to nuke him really, really quick with Mole Man. So I do Power Start 1 just because I want to get to my Power Start 2 as quickly as possible. I was trying to play it so I don't really trying to avoid him throwing his special as long as I could. I should have tried for the reparry here. The problem with repairing with Mole Man is that you end up getting this mode right here, the crazy mode. So you can see I got bunches of debuffs on me, which are all ticking for incredible amounts of damage. I'm just trying to do as much damage as I can, and it actually ends up being a pretty dicey fight, even though it's incredibly quick. One more error, and I think I might have died, and so not great, but I survived. Now we'll go back to the power of Wiccan, and so this Wiccan is again going against. Let's skip all my mastery changes. Blah blah blah. So it's Wiccan. Oh, sorry. Maybe I didn't record that fight. Fine. So now off to this is War 2, and so I have a really cool team in this war. You can see my team is Torch, Wiccan again, and Leader. So I have my rank 4 Leader, another champion I ranked up solely for war attack. This is a really interesting node because you actually don't get super amounts of Leader's greatest ability, which is the reverse regen. And so this is against Kindred. This is node number 10, and yeah, it's basically just I have to out damage him. Every time I put a Spectre on, I can eventually I knew I was going to take a lot of damage, so I just wanted to put on the regen boost. But you can just sort of see how this fight is. We're not going to spend too much time on it, but I'm able to, of course, he gets an infection that's really annoying. I'm just trying to hit him basically and do damage and win the fight. And here I get backed in the corner where he has the degen, so that's doing huge amounts of damage. And so yeah, that's a little dicey in this fight. For the most part, you can see when I have my Spectre on again, it just heal blocks him. It doesn't actually reverse the healing. That's part of the node. And so yeah, this fight ends up being fine, and I just sort of go about it and get the victory. The nice thing about Leader, obviously he's science and he throws a lot of specials, and when I counter them, I can stop. I can pause the, maybe I didn't counter him there. Again, that was terrible. You can pause the, let's see if I can do a better job here. Yeah, there it is. You pause the infection cycle, and so that's really helpful. So, okay, not too exciting to fight. Let's go on. Here's one of my deaths. I thought this was going to be a super straightforward fight. So it's Wiccan. This is section 2, path 5, and this is one where it's ebb and flow knockdown. We have to knock him down to do extra damage. And I just totally don't dex the SP 1, which is very dumb. Get the knockdown. Oh no, sorry, it's ebb and flow intercept. And so I'm always really scared about intercepting. And again, I just don't know what I'm doing in this fight. So I sort of throw this trying to get it. And then it was sort of weird. Maybe this div also has a falter. Yes, this also has a falter on it too, which I obviously totally forgot about. And so here we are, and then I get parried. And yeah, I'm like about to die. And so I throw my SP1, figure get myself out of this jam, get some regen. Look at his regen. His regen is crazy good. I'm like, okay, sort of got the fight a little bit under control, but did push him to an SP2, which is always scary. And he is not throwing it, which is even more scary. And then I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to eat the SP3. Might as well try to do as much damage as I can. And so there it is. There's the, trying to get my big SP2 off. And yeah, you even get lucky that he doesn't throw his SP1. So the best part about this is I can throw my SP1 and my regen is helping me out. So I was hoping my regen would help me. It wasn't quite as good as the first time. And here comes a big SP3, which I wasn't sure if it was going to kill me or not. I do always put on that special 3 protection boost, and so obviously it helped me. So again, immediately throw my SP2, and once again my regen's doing all right. So yeah, I mean, as bad as I played this fight, I'm still alive. So that's hope there. I just can't even. I probably should go for more intercepts. I just don't want to because I'm too scared of them. I feel like I'll just get hit, and again, I don't know. Was I trying to both put on my casting shield and dex it, and then the falter gets me again? I just was not playing with the falter. Trying to get some regen as always. And yeah, then I just decided to block it and still get hit by it because I just well, it's not an easy, but it's a pretty simplistic special to dex. And here we go again, just, you know, trying to do as much damage as I can, not get faltered, not get parried, push into an SP2. A little bit worried about that just because it does a lot of black damage. And got the casting shield on, survive it just barely. There's my SP1, but I think I faltered there. I couldn't even tell sometimes, to be honest. There's the falter's definitely on me now. And with that, I run into him, miss him, and die. Just chaotic, just out of control, chaos in that fight. And yeah, not a very good fight. One that should have been very manageable. Okay, the cleanup goes fine. I sort of learned my lesson. This one's just normal torch versus Rintra. Okay, here it is. This is my nemesis fight. This is node 42, Null, and I'm going in with Wiccan. And so I've never used my rank 4 Wiccan before on this. I used rank 3 a lot, and it was always super, super dicey. I felt like there's always a 50% chance I can die. So go back, get my casting shield on, boom. Don't have to worry about his unblock anymore. Get his neutralize on. Really, the most important thing is to pause the casting shield. You know, go ahead and, I don't know if it was worth launching a big SP2 or not, but I go ahead and do it. And now I'm trying to get him to throw his SP2. There it is. Get my casting shield back on. You always need to keep your casting shield back on because that is what keeps you from being able to block his unblockable. So casting shield back on. Gonna try. I think I finished with the light here. Refresh. Oh no, I finished with medium. But anyway, it pauses my casting shield, which is super important. Big SP2. Take a little bit of damage from the power sting, but again, the rank 4 definitely survives the power sting a lot better. He gets power again, but that's fine. Okay, make sure my casting shield is back on, and now I want to like exactly get my neutralize back on. There it is. Just bait out SP2. Go make sure casting shield on. Keeping the casting shield on is so critical because without it, that is like the end of this match. Okay, and now I feel pretty good here. Again, heavy him just to keep the casting shield. Pause. Take the damage again. And there it is. And so this fight feels 100 times more manageable with a rank 4 Wiccan. So just for this fight alone, I feel like the rank 4 Wiccan is invaluable. So happy I ranked him. So it's the end of that war. That's war 2. We did lose that war. And so, okay, this war, straightforward, had just great counters. This one was a little bit interesting. This was leader versus destroyer. Trying to really be good about boosting this season. And so, sorry, this is Ant-Man versus. I'm bringing Ant-Man a lot. All of a sudden, Ant-Man has become my go-to champion. So yeah, I was assigned to Ant-Man. I was like, whoa, that's interesting. The thing about Ant-Man is he's great. This is node 18, so, and it's one of the hazard shift with poison and shock. And guess what? Ant-Man could care less about poison and shock. So I think basically none of the node affects me at all, except for I think when I gain 1 bar power, yeah, he gains that indestructible. Here I'm just putting on some exhaustions. Not quite sure 100% why I was doing that. Maybe to make my power sting more effective. I would like to think that was it. And my goal with him is just to always push him to an SP2. So you can see I'm eating lots of blocks, but fine. And yeah, I sort of spaced out his heavy. His heavy, you don't think you can actually, and there's good dex. I mean, his SP2 is always super scary, but as I was saying, his heavy, you don't think you can just go back 1 space because it has so much beam and it seems to like hit you, but it doesn't. And so knowing that you only have to go back 1 space on his heavy is sort of the key piece of information I need for this. But yeah, pretty crazy about Ant-Man. All of a sudden, Ant-Man's turned into a super good defender. I mean, a war attacker. I've always liked Ant-Man and thought he was a pretty cool champion, but now I get to really use him. And so here it is. Got the dex, always so scary, the dex. And go through my SP2, which is what does the most damage. But the problem with is I had the boost on, and that boost actually was working against me because the boost pushed me over bar of power, which means I was indestructible, which means I just wasn't doing that great of damage off my SP2. I think it happens again. Yeah, I don't know if it's the last bit of damage, and that is why you have an indestructible boost on. I think that would have killed me if I hadn't had the indestructible on. So that was a little scary. And then here I go and just finish the fight. So Ant-Man is in war, and we'll go see him again. Okay, so this is actually a good fight to look at too. So this is leader, and this is leader in his natural element and dealing with regen. So this is path 2, section 2, and this has a really strong regen. If I dash back twice, he gets a regen, and it has these vitality effect. If I run out of charges, like if I use too many mediums or too many lights or too many heavies, then he will start getting extra bonuses on his regen. So I almost don't want to throw specials, but then of course I do want to throw specials because that gives me the extra specters. But look at this, as I'm going backwards, he's absolutely just melting. And so you can see I'm just spamming backwards, just trying to melt him as much as I can and get the specters just to do my work for me. So I go ahead and throw my SP1 again. It resets everything. If I probably could have used all my attacks, got his vitality up a lot, and then he would have really killed himself. But I sort of wasn't quite sure what the better benefit was, like getting the regen up with lots of specters or sort of stalling the fight and seeing if I could then just get him so he was doing such crazy regen that it would like instantly kill him. But anyway, this is fine. Just dexing these and then he dies. So the leader, if you can reverse the regen, he's just such an amazing counter. And if the node has a regen, especially a strong one, I mean, he just is, I feel like, OP. Okay, here's one of my favorite fights. Maybe this is my favorite fight of this season. And this is Nico Manaru, and I'm using Ant-Man. Now, why is Ant-Man so good? Well, one, this is, again, section 2. What is this? Node 210. 1827. No, I think it's node 29. And so this has EMP, which means you gain those attacks. And look at that. Talk about a bad start. So the EMP means that when I throw my special, like all of like the I can't remember the charges I've gained. Oh, sorry. This is a duel. I was like, wow, I did terrible this fight. So I did a bunch of duels to prepare myself. Let's see if we can actually find the actual fight. I was like, why am I doing so bad? Okay, here's the actual fight, and let's take a look at the node. So, pardon that. So this node has EMP modifications, which means that they throw specials. When they throw specials, you get big shock damage. He's immune to shock. It also has stun immunity, which does affect me. And then I have like placebo, doesn't affect him because he's one of those champions that doesn't get buffs. And of course, she turns any buffs into poison. The one thing I learned about playing this fight is that she has a pretty sneaky power gain, which I guess anytime a buff fails to trigger or triggers or would trigger, she gets a big chunk of power. So what am I doing? Back to the duel. I guess I really want to duel this a lot. Okay, finally go back into the fight. Okay. I mean, I do like to duel a lot when I'm worried about a fight, just to really get all the distances and mechanics figured out. I feel like that's a very important thing. Like, obviously the node, you can't replicate that all the time. Well, I did. I played stun immune. So anyway, learn how to deal with her heavy. There's her heavy. Here I go. Okay, this is looking much better. And I'm trying to push her to an SP2 because I can counterattack the SP2 so much easier. But this is where you have to watch out for the extra bars of power she gains. I'm always just dexing the first two. Just a little unsure about the third one, so I can just go ahead and every time and just block that. I feel like better to be safe. Okay, there it is again. Now throws the SP2, fine, and boom. Oh, got knocked down by that time. Not so fine. Okay, now I think I really want to get to my SP2 to get a big bunch of poisons on her. Okay, so this is where I push it. Now look how much she has, almost 3 bars of power, and now she has really close to 3 bars of power. Now she has 3 bars of power. That happened because every time I dexed, she put a buff on me, which means she gained power, even though I was immune to it. So anytime she would put a buff on, she gets a chunk of power, and I think that scales with Mystic Dispersion too. So luckily I had on my what do you call it, mastery? The indestructible boost, and so I can eat it with no damage. But yeah, pretty scary to be honest. And here I am again. Okay, so now I'm a little more cautious, I guess. But you can see just 2 dexes, and I'm already up to almost another special 3. Just because when you're trying to bait out specials, you tend to dex. Because if I hold block like this, then yeah, it is. She's definitely not going to throw a special. They're super conservative. Just go ahead and let all those buffs. Just let all of her special 2 go into my block. Feeling pretty good here. Do the same thing, and I can counterattack it easily. And now the nice thing is here, the special 2 is going to put on 9 poisons. And so maybe the max must be 12, but then she melts. And yeah, what can I say? Ant-Man in the house in a Alliance war, and so cool. He's always been a fun champion. He's not great on stun immunes because it's especially one where I wasn't too confident to counter her heavy with my heavy to get the power sting on her, which would have helped. But yeah, overall, super fun fight. Yeah, here's Ant-Man again. This is against Rintra, and yeah, another fight where I feel like Ant-Man is amazing. So this node, again, this is a leader fight. So this node, he has regen, which is great. If you're close to him, he gains regen. This I should have played a lot better, because the root, I was so concerned about the root, but I should have really let the root hit me, because then he's close to me and doing lots of damage. And so here, melting him pretty well, but then I stay away from him. But here, let's watch the end of the fight when right about here. So everything's going bad, actually. I'm getting hit, getting trapped in the corner. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And then I do this, and he gets rooted, and it's unstoppable. Like I can put all these things in through my buffs, but he hits me. But then watch what happens. I get rooted, and I have all these things on him, and he's just gained more and more specters, and it's crazy. And so I sort of learned this fight right at the end, as opposed to where I should have learned it right at the beginning, was that, yeah, just getting myself rooted is very, very good, because then he's close to me. When he's rooted, you can't really attack him because he's unstoppable when he's rooted, and he'll just clobber you with a heavy. So, okay, so always learning in all these war fights. The last war was sort of more the same, some Mole Man, some Ant-Man. This was an Ant-Man versus Rintra. And again, this fight, knockdown, and he's stun immune when he charges in, basically, and if you well-time block him, you put it on a cooldown. So this one was one of my better Ant-Man fights, I'd say. Again, I feel like I dueled a lot on this one. So just trying to play it cool, just knocking him down when I can, but not worrying about too much. So there's knockdown, there goes the protection, and do the SP1 because I'm trying to get the poisons up, and of course knock him down. And now he's stun immune, and so the nice thing about that, put on the power sting, which is great. And He does like purify everything when he gets the protection back though. So it's a little bit of an annoying fight, but to be honest, this fight felt very in control the whole time. And so yes, it was okay. But anyway, this fight is just sort of slow and steady. Yeah, they're good fights this war. I'll show you my other death. So I've had revenge against Nova with my Mole Man. This fight really worried me. This actually was the one that worried me the most on this on my paths. And so this is Path 4, Section 2. So, you know, I was really worried about him, like, what do you call it, parrying me. This is this knockdown or intercept? I think this is knockdown, not intercept for the extra damage. Or maybe this is intercept, which actually Mole Man can do fairly well. Let's see if he has protections on him. No, that's, yeah, okay. So he has protections on him. It is knockdown, so I knock him down. And you can see I get that grit. That's because Mole Man's a tactic attacker, which is nice because on his heavy, he has that unstoppable. I can't remember what the name of that node is. See, I've actually learned how to dex this special now. So interesting enough, I actually don't want to get into my like Fury mode. Why? Is because the Fury mode does two things that actually don't help me. One is if you hit Nova with unblockable, with guaranteed crits, he reduces the damage a lot. And I'm always worried about the auto block. And so, and if I have 10 or less charges on my Mole Man force, I don't have to worry about the auto blocks. I actually didn't want to get my Fury, which is very counterintuitive there. I did, not sure why, but okay, and I block everything. Take a lot of block damage, which scares me because I'm actually behind in damage now. So here, look at those, just not doing any damage, or I mean, doing okay damage, but not that much comparatively. And so I was a little worried about that. So I'm actually will be happy when I lose my my Mole Man Fury. And so hitting him, doing damage, he's unblockable now, which is always scary. Okay, but now once again, I'm back to 0 charges, so I feel like, you know, I needed to like refresh what I was doing. And I'm going to knock him down with my SP1 as opposed to my heavy now, because my SP1 doesn't give me as many mole charges, which, you know, the heavy gives you 4. I feel like too many. And so then I just eat that. Does a lot of damage, but I don't feel too bad. There's the unstoppable, but I have the grit up, which is amazing. So again, every time I knock him down, I get that endurance, which gives me the grit, and it also takes off his protection. So yeah, this fight was really pretty intricate and interesting. And again, like from the duels, I sort of discovered and like rereading and reading his information about, you know, the guaranteed crits. I felt like there's a lot of research that went into making this a good fight. And so yeah, I was really happy with the outcome of this. Just as I said, a fight that was making me really nervous, and I did a lot of duels and really was trying to figure it out, and went from sort of a, like, you know, all in and nice unstoppable counter there to get the final damage, to like trying to get, you know, 20 charges, get my big Fury, to realizing that was a huge mistake. And so I'm pretty happy with my research on that. I feel like I'm just not the best at knowing all the champions' abilities and counters and, you know, smart strategy. So I'm trying to get much better at figuring that out. Of course, now after I'm so happy about that, I make the biggest blunder in the world, and that is on this fight. And this is Negasonic Warhead Teenage Mutant Turtle against Hitmonkey. And so I thought I could just nuke him down really quick. I was like, I'm just going to nuke him down. Go get to my SP2 and win. This is the one with Vitality when you run out of charges. So right there, I've just run out of charges, and his Vitality is going to start counting up. And this is one where every time you dash back, you put a regen on him. And so look at that healing. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. And I feel like it's already too late. I've already put too many on. I sort of put all my hope in getting a giant special 2 that would get all my charges on. So I get 16 charges easily. And then I was just like, okay, we just got to keep this up and melt him. And so yeah, I put on the vulnerability. I'm dexing him, but look at that. His health is just too much. I mean, it just goes so crazy. And I have to always bait out a special 1. And yeah, I mean, it just overrides my Furies. And basically at this point I've lost. I mean, my incinerates. At this point I've lost. I feel like I'm not going to be able to out damage him And I'm just getting more and more vitalities all the time. And yeah, so I'm not gonna show you the whole like 30-minute fight here, but or 3 minutes 42 seconds. But I do get absolutely rocked right there. Like what happens? Yeah, I missed the dex, and then he rocks me, and then rocks me again. Look at this, I'm down to like 5%, and he's healed back up to full. It's amazing. But I actually managed to like live for another 3 minutes and 14 seconds and don't ever die. And so I get the timeout, which I guess was better than dying. I don't know. But anyway, that was just a crazy fight. Timeout. There it is. Still managed to keep that 6%. So was slightly proud of myself for that, even though I played miserably. So, and this is where, like, I dueled this fight a lot. I was really trying to be good about anticipating this fight. But again, the node made such a big difference that I just can't simulate the node. And so anyway, I read the node a lot, figure it all out. And I'm going in again. And now I say to myself, okay, just keep track of your strikes as best you can. It's always hard in a fight to keep track of them. It's just like watching the video, I can see them so well, but of course you can't like have your eyes up on the upper left corner while you fight. I'm just saying, okay, throw my special attack as much as possible, because again, he's still going to heal, but I just can't let him get the crazy vitality healing. So I start off with a heavy, just trying to be careful with my specials. I mean, with my strike, with the amount of strikes I do in each one. Okay, good. I get that all set up again. He's got the regen again, but you can see, and this is the hard part, so having to bait out his SP1 is so like long, and yeah, he gets so much healing back, and I lose bunches of my incinerates. Okay, I'm ready to start again. And so here I do the heavy, get the thing on, but I've lost all of my charges, which is not good. He gets the regen again, because again, I have to bait out the special. I don't even get hits. Like, okay, this is terrible. That was a mistake, throwing that heavy, because now he's gained the vitalities. And so luckily I throw the special really quick. Okay, now I got baited out again. And you can just see the way the health bar is zooming up. I mean, I was like, oh, it's going to be another terrible fight. And so here I go in again. I'm not finishing with lights. Like, I'm sort of used to finishing with mediums because it pauses the incinerates, but I don't get as many of them on. And so that's sort of a mistake. There again, once again, now he has 8 vitality, so it's a lot. Luckily, he throws this. I have to dex it, so again, he gets the regen. He gets a lot of health back. And here it comes again, and I actually block that because I could. Like when he's in monkey mode, I can't block it, but when he's not, I can. Okay, I managed to pause just at the very end with 9 incinerates, and I got a good number of incinerates on. Got everything recharged and refreshed. He has 8 vitality, which is a lot. Try to get on the energy vulnerability, so he just does more damage. And once thing, now I have 17, so I've actually got a fair number. Have to dex it, which means more regen. But I'm finally at the point where I think I'm outdoing the regen, and he hasn't gained any new vitality, and whew, I get him down. I mean, even playing that well feels like a really challenging fight to me. I feel like I'm just on the edge of keeping it all together. Yeah, tricky fight. And so yeah, that's my second death of the season. Mad Cat, my friend from West Virginia. Hey, Mad Cat. I've just showed you this fight in the last war, so I won't show it again. But anyway, as I said, we are 1-3. We've faced, and this is LVT, who of course is one of the greatest war alliances. And so we've definitely faced some good alliances, but we also have given up a lot of deaths. And I've given up a lot of deaths. So yeah, I think now for the first third of the season, it's sort of been a learning experience for us all, and now it's time to turn it around and get some victory. So anyway, hope you've liked this video. Hope you enjoyed the war fights. Hope you're having a great season yourself. And of course, I will see you soon in another video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.